You guys hear about the plane? The pilot telling the passengers. This is a great story. One of the better stories today coming out. Pilot tells passengers, I'm not qualified to land plane. Is this a good thing or a bad thing?
What? What? Where was that? What airline is this?
But I'm asking, is it a good thing or a bad thing? Because I'm not really sure.
Bad.
It's horrible.
Why?
Because why was he even in the cockpit?
He's had 30 years experience, my friend. He's not a newbie. He's been flying for 30 years.
Was he in a plane that he wasn't familiar with?
I'm looking at this story as we speak here.
It was fog.
It was fog. It was heavy fog. We've all been on that flight where all of a sudden they hit the runway. You're like, wow.
Yeah, how do you find that?
Yeah, what kind of training does that take to land the plane without any kind of visual whatsoever?
Instruments.
No, I understand, but...
Well, 20 minutes outside of Paris, he said, unfortunately, I'm not qualified to land the plane in Paris. They're asking us for level 2 qualification, and I only have a level 5. We have to fly back. And he had recently switched from flying Bombardier, blah, 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 to Bombardier, blah, 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 and had not completed the requisite low-visibility training. So apparently, it was probably a technical thing.
Yeah.
But his company stood behind him. They said he absolutely did the right thing. They back him 100% because he took the safe route.
Wow.
So I guess it's good in the fact that he was honest.
You know what sucks? They were so close to landing. He said, I'm not qualified. And he turned all the way around and went all the way back to where he came from.
You know, the way the headline sounds, though, it's like some Joe the Plumber's in there.
Oh, yeah?
And he's like, hey, by the way, I'm not qualified to land.
You think he said it like that? Or maybe he said, look, I don't feel good about landing this plane in this fog.
Maybe they want to come up here and give it take a whack at it?
Maybe he didn't use I'm not qualified, because that would scare passengers.
Yeah.
Saying something like, I don't think it's a good idea, they're telling us to turn around, that type of thing would be a lot easier to handle, I guess.
Qualifications.
Yeah.
Wow, that's something. I like uneventful flights. I like when the pilot just tells you how high we are.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe look out your window and see something. You don't want things like there's a problem or that sound you just heard was...
They don't even do that, though. I wish the pilots would talk just a little more.
You never want to hear them go, engine number 2.
Right.
Or just any engine.
Sure.
You never want to hear them bring up an engine.
I think there's a lot of people that hate to fly, and if that pilot would just come on every once in a while and give you a little something, I think so many more people would enjoy flying.
They're probably sleeping.
You think they're sleeping in there?
They sleep up there. Not both at the same time, but...
What if the other one starts nodding off like... effing Club Soda Kenny does as you're driving home from Boston?
It did happen.
Yeah, it did.
In L.A., right? They overflew L.A. by like a half hour.
Yeah, both
pilots were sleeping.
And it's automatic pilot.
Whoopsie.
They kept it going.
I demanded Kenny pull over once, and he had to admit, yeah, I guess you're right. I guess I have been falling asleep for the last 30 miles. Great.
Isn't that fantastic?
Great. Thanks, Kenny.
Driving with my brother once, back down from upstate, and I'm looking at him, and I go, you're falling asleep. Let me drive.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, no, man, I know I'm not going to fall asleep. I don't know you're not going to fall asleep. I go, don't you understand that's exactly what I'm thinking?
Right.
Like, I'm positive you're falling asleep. So I stopped waking him up, because I would wake him up the second I saw his eyes going. But I waited, and I looked to see where we were going, and we hit the rumble strip. But I went, hey! You know what that was, don't you? You were asleep.
Now pull over.
It's like, okay. And then I drove.
It does suck giving up the wheel.
I was falling asleep.
Yeah. I was falling asleep on the way to Scranton for a wedding. I had to finally admit it and go, yeah, all right, you drive. I was dead tired, man.
It's such a helpless feeling of just, I have no control over my body. I have this 2-ton missile going down the street, and the brains behind it is falling asleep. You smack yourself, you roll the window down, you just tried anything to stay awake, and
there's nothing worse. I did the trip from Buffalo to Long Island so many times, and you're just so tired.
You're talking to stay awake. Stay awake. You just say the words.
You just want to get home.
Yeah.
You're suffering. Doing, like you said, everything. Smacking your face. Opening the windows even though it's 10 degrees out. Cranking the music. You try everything.
You'll get used to anything. At first, you roll the window down, and it's freezing cold. You take a breath and go, oh, man, okay, I'm set.
Yeah.
There's no way I'm falling asleep now.
Yeah.
And then, like, in 5 minutes, the cold ain't so bad. Half your face is frozen.
Right.
You're just dozing off.
Getting back to the plane story, you were saying you never want to hear Engine 2?
Yeah.
Listen to this one. Matt in New York.
Hey, boys.
Hey.
Happy birthday, Jimmy.
Thank you, fella.
Hey, I was I was going on my honeymoon, and we're taking off. We get about 10 minutes into the air, and the pilot goes, we have an extreme hydraulic failure.
Oh.
And considering the plane runs on hydraulics,
yeah.
nothing you could do.
Wow, what kind of plane were you on? Was it small or large?
Oh, it was a large one. It was going to San Juan from JFK. And we're going all over the ocean, so he's like, we got to land in Philadelphia, and when we get there, it was just fire trucks and ambulances.
But a massive hydraulics failure. You have, I think, 2 sets of backups, which I believe was the flaw in DC-10s, which caused that one United flight to have such a problem. Was that when there was an explosion, it severed the lines of both backups. Like something in the hydraulic thing blew out, and it severed the backup lines, too.
Wow.
So it was that rear engine or something. One of the blades went and shot through all of the hydraulic lines, which they cleverly put real close to each other by the tail section instead of, spreading them out a little bit.
Yeah.
So it just cut all 3, and no hydraulics at all. First of all, now hand crank down the landing gear and hope for the best. Turn the plane with the engines.
I've heard the audio of those pilots, and it gave you faith in airline pilots. These bastards, they were like, we have no elevator control, which I guess means going up and down.
Yeah.
Like I just said it.
Yeah.
We have the 30,000 feet. They can't go up.
Right.
We have no elevator control.
Plane turn.
Can't.
Which would be fine to hear if they said something after that. Like, but we have no problem, flying this thing.
They didn't say that over the loudspeaker.
That wasn't to the people.
Oh, Jesus, no. They said something happened, but they said it to
this is on the
ground control.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, the people, they said, we've run out of beverage.
Right.
Yeah.
right.
The airplane has ran out of beverage. And we mean the plane itself. There's no liquid left.
My new thing is I just check out the waitresses on the flights.
Is that what you do?
And if they're having no problem and they're still trying to figure out, how to pour a soda and get the coffee right for you, I'm like, all right, we're all right.
What about when they pull those little seats down from the walls and they buckle up?
Well, every time I feel a bump, I look up and they're like reading a book. I'm like, okay, they've been through this. No big deal.
Yeah, when they're buckled up.
Yeah.
The pilot goes, a little turbulence.
But every once in a while, you see them, they'll give you a look. You'll see them doing a look like, oh, boy.
Yeah,
Great.
The pilots never even say turbulence anymore.
Bumps.
Go, it's going to get a little bumpy.
A little bumpy.
A little choppy.
Get a little choppy, a little bumpy. For a short period of time, we're going to keep the seatbelt light on. And, the second we get into some clear air, we're going to take that light off. And then you're thinking, okay, we're going to get out of it. And it's going to take the light off.
Were you ever on a flight where the plane went sideways, or it felt like it went sideways for a few seconds?
In a small turboprop.
I was coming home from L.A. No, big one. Big plane, big one.
Really?
And it was so bad that everybody, including, myself, started screaming. And I went, this is it. Something hit the plane, wind shear, whatever, I don't know. It was on our way back into New York. We're getting close. And it felt like it was sideways, like I was leaning heavy right for a second or two, and everyone started screaming.
Were they making like a little bit of a bank turn, and then the wind hit it and really just came a little bit?
Jimmy, it came out of nowhere. It was like normal. All of a sudden, this feeling of, wow, we got hit. It felt like we got hit by something. Wow. It's the only way I could describe it, and everyone started screaming. Yeah, everybody.
Fun one.
Yeah. And just grabbing as hard as you can. And then it was, I don't even know, this is years now, but a couple seconds. And then it was back to like whatever. Yeah. And it landed with no incident.
You'd be amazed with
the pilot never said anything. The waitresses up there, they were screaming.
You ever see a slow motion shot of like a 747 in a test chamber for what the wings?
Yeah, I understand what they could do. Yeah,
dude, the wingtips
that makes you feel a little better.
Are moving like a bird. Mm-hmm. The wings are flapping. They're moving so far up and down. Because sometimes you look out that window and you see the wings going and they're moving.
Yeah,
you're like, that's made of metal.
Yeah. Is that supposed to do that?
how does it not break? I know when I take a piece of metal and I bend it enough times, it gets hot and then it breaks. It's like, how many times has that wing done that?
Good point.
It's almost 90 degrees before they snap, though.
Yeah.
It's never going to happen in flight.
Yeah. It's not like people think it's two wings on a plane. It's like one structure that goes right through the plane.
Yeah.
Is the wing.
To this day, I don't know what that flight was all about. What happened to the plane? I have no idea.
Yeah, you probably hit one of those weird air pockets, or
and it just went like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like sliding on a slippery highway for a split second. I don't know. It was weird, man.
The thing is, if your plane is flying, you're doing, let's say, 500 miles an hour, and the wind is pretty wacky up high, and then you get a tailwind that whips in at 100 miles an hour, this gust. It takes 400 miles. Then you're only really doing a 400 mile an hour airspeed. So you might drop a little bit.
So maybe that's what it was.
Cutting the throttle down.
I don't know. It was
all relative to the wind, That's why it's airspeed, not ground speed. Mm-hmm. If you got a headwind, you barely got to give it any juice.
You're rocking. We love hearing that, right? Oh, good news. We got a headwind.
Well, the tailwinds are good for getting.
Tailwind. I'm sorry.
The headwinds will keep your plane up.
Without any effort.
Yeah.
I got you.
Your relative airspeed will be pretty fast.
Yeah, I meant the tailwind.
But you won't be going that fast.
We're going to make up a lot of time. We got a tailwind.
Yeah, make up time. How about you make up time anyway?
Yeah.
Just do it even if we're not late, and let's get there early.
Got it.
There you go.
Yeah. Goose this thing.
Oh, that got the phones ringing. We'll do a little mop-up next. Opie and Anthony, stay there. Got a good phone call coming in from Alan in Dallas. Alan, how are you, buddy?
Good morning. Just want to state for the record, no naked girls in studio, but we can advertise Trojan condoms on the radio. That's great.
Right.
I'm so glad you guys are noticing, because if we notice that stuff, we get in trouble.
Yeah.
My God. What's up, Alan?
Anyway, maybe you get some naked girls, they sell more Trojan condoms. I don't know. Mythbusters did an episode on whether a non-experienced person could be talked down by a pilot over the radio in air traffic control.
Yeah.
Probably one of the coolest episodes of Mythbusters I've ever seen.
I got to go see that Mythbusters. I would love to see that.
What was the verdict?
Adam and Jamie both went in with a flight plan with nobody to talk them down, promptly crashed the plane in NASA's multi-million-dollar flight simulator. Then they get a guy that's like a 30-year pilot, gets on the radio, yeah, you're going to notice the landing gear switch to your right. Go ahead and flip that. Pull your elevator back. Slow your speed. Perfect landing both times. So they completely called it plausible because there was no confirmed cases ever in history of anybody being talked down remotely by air traffic control, but they both did it on the simulator back to back.
Our resident expert on Mythbusters, Danny.
That is true. They both were able to be talked down and land the plane safely. However, they also mentioned that it would never happen in a real-world environment because the planes these days are so sophisticated and just packed with the latest technology that when you flip on autopilot, I mean, that plane could fly itself and even land itself if it needed to. So you would never be in a situation where you actually needed to be talked down to land
the airplane. Yeah, you would have to. Somebody would have to tell you what switches to hit for the autopilot,
right, exactly.
and the ILS and whatever else you would need to line up with the runway. But yeah, what are you going to do? It's going to bring you right in.
That's good to know. All right, Alan, thank you.
Anyway, see Jimmy at the Borgata on the 18th. Tickets go on sale at 10 o'clock this morning.
How good are you? Third show, by the way. Nice, Alan. Thank you.
Sir.
All right. We got more plane stories coming in. I think we kind of got to get out of here, though. Want to take one more of these?
Sure.
Flight I was on felt like roller coaster. Flight was delayed after truck hit our plane on runway. Let's go with that one, yeah. Janice.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Hi.
Good. What are you doing?
I just pulled into work. I wanted to tell you what happened to me. I was on a commuter jet from London to Glasgow, and our plane was hit by the catering truck on the runway.
Yummy.
How bad?
Apparently not so bad that we couldn't take off. But you saw the guys come up in their little cherry picker with their toolbox and stuff and kind of fiddled around for a few minutes and patted the plane on the side like everything was going to be okay, and they told us we could go.
It's not like it was hit by a truck. Could you...
That's what they told us.
Well, what could it hit, really? The wheel?
I have no
Wing?
idea. I white knuckled it the whole
I'm just
way.
saying, is the truck high, high enough to hit the actual wing, you think?
I would think.
Depending on which plane you're on, sure.
I have no idea.
Oh, my
felt
God.
something hit. I closed my eyes, and that was about it.
They don't have to be in the plane. Yeah, it's good enough.
Yeah, that'll work. Go ahead.
Have a
Give
good
off.
flight.
I'm going to be inside here on the ground.
Enjoy.
My altitude is 0. You-
On the side of the plane. Like, don't worry about it, guys. Everything's okay.
Wow. All right. Thank you, Janice.
All right, bye-bye.